What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Apologies, I've been away for a couple of days, but we have some interesting news, particularly around the price and some important levels that we need to see Luna Classic give the respect, and then we can start to make a move. Also, we're going to take a look at the burns and exactly what does it mean for the future of Luna Classic. So if you want to keep up to date with everything going on, make sure you subscribe to the channel, turn that notification bell on, and if you leave a like on this video, the more likes we get, the more people see what is going on with Luna Classic. And with that being said, let's dive in. So looking at Luna Classic right now, we are currently the 31st ranked crypto. We've been there for a while, but we are at 2967, just about 4% down on the day. Now we'll look a bit more at the technical chart in just a second, but $1.8 billion in market cap, down just 4%, and just under $400 million in volume. Now there is a lot of people debating the volume and that Luna Classic is dead and people are moving on, and there's lots of things going on and going around at the minute. And again, you know, my view on all this is you make the trades, you make the purchase, you invest in what you think is a good idea or what you learn about, and really don't listen to anyone else. Whatever else's opinion, if you think you want to sell and you want to move on to something else, then do so. But if you think long term and you hold, then you do. That's exactly what I'm doing. I still believe long term that Terra Luna Classic has a very, very bright future. Looking at the fundamentals or the technicals a little bit, and for those regular viewers of my channel, you know, we're not a big tier channel, we're not, but look, I do think there are some important levels that we need to be mindful of. So we currently sit on the more accurate chart, 2976, down just 3%. We are seeing a nice little bit of volume. Now there's a couple of lines drawn on this chart where I think are really important levels where we've either used some sort of support or equally they've formed resistance. Now we have just broke under the kind of 3 level into these 2.9s. We've been around there a few times, but you see we bought back in and managed to get over it. So this is a really important level for Luna Classic. We need to stay above the 3s ideally. That puts us in a really strong position. Now we can say relatively confidently we haven't had a prolonged period of consolidation at certain price points that we saw a while back, you know, where we get kind of maybe 3, 4, 5 days just consolidating around the same price, building that layer of support ready to make a next price movement. Now like I said, it's going to be interesting over the course of the next couple of hours as we see this price movement and we see what it does. Now we obviously saw some pretty aggressive moves up when we got that information around the burns. We topped out with the 359s, which is pretty crazy, and actually then we have just continued to sell off. So lots to kind of still work through. And again, Luna Classic is going to be one of those where, you know, a 4%, 5%, it's just nothing. You know, this can swing 50% in a day. So we always have to be mindful of that when you're making your purchase. But look, the next 2 hours will be interesting. Do we come down to this kind of 2.9 level and find some layer of support? You can see it's been used a few times over here. Equally, do we come all the way down? The lowest level I've got at the minute is the 2.7. Again, I'm just watching the 2-hour chart to see what we do. The RSI looks like it's trending in a good direction. Money flow actually looks pretty healthy. We are actually seeing money flow coming into Terra Luna Classic. You can see that has just gone green on the 2-hour candle. So we'll wait and see what that looks like. A very important time as we go through. But ultimately, what have we got that's coming? And I guess that's the big thing at the minute. We obviously know we now get that weekly Binance out. And I think it's going to be really interesting what we see next week, particularly. Do we see slightly less? And again, I would always context by saying it was a $1.8 million burn that Binance did for us. So we can't really sniff at that, given they don't actually have to do it. But we did get another listing for Luna Classic. Now, again, they are implemented only the on and off, i.e. deposits and withdrawals, taxes. But again, it's another exchange that you can get Luna Classic. And ultimately, we see this with a lot of the decentralized and DeFi projects that we need volume, and volume ultimately will support the ecosystem of Terra Luna Classic. But this is going to go live. So Setox is going to list Luna Classic, which is a good news all around. Now, looking at the burns, and we saw obviously that huge Binance burn, about 5.5 billion, worth about $1.8 million. So we can see Binance currently at 5.6 billion, the top burning entity on Luna Classic right now. But look, 14 billion is the total amount burned so far. Now, again, you have to context it. People will be saying, well, do you know what? It's nothing. It's a drop in the ocean. It's going to take us 100 years to get to the point where it's going to be reasonable. And, you know, right now, you're probably right. But again, think about where we've come from with this. Think about where we were at. Think about how much we've come and what we've done so far. You know, 1.2% burn tax, coded, tested, implemented, burnt 4 billion tokens. Binance weren't going to do anything, burnt 5.5 billion. So, you know, suddenly this thing in the long term, this is why I talk about it in the long term, talk 6 months, 12 months, you know, what does that look like, particularly for volume? And again, when people refer to the price, lower price will equal more burns. It's just as simple as that. So, you know, there's a lot more to this than just hype. than just understanding, well, we want a huge price, we want to be $1 tomorrow. You know, there's a lot more to it, and we are seeing more and more understanding of what this is coming. We're seeing more and more utilities coming. You only have to go and look at, you know, the Terra ecosystem and be in the Discord to understand how many utilities are coming on board. And equally, some of these decentralized projects that want to come, and their ultimate goal and support goal is to burn Luna Classic. So for me, we're in a really strong place. Again, the price maybe isn't what we would want to see. The burn amount isn't going to want to see, but you know, right now, volume is what we need. We have got, like I said, some key levels of support, some interesting buys coming in right now, nearly 3%. Down, and it does look like we are going in the right direction. So going to be interesting over the next couple of hours, but let me know in the comments down below, what's your views right now? I know a lot of people seem to be divided on Luna Classic. I know a lot of people over on YouTube and Twitter feel divided on it. Again, my take, I'm still long-term bullish on this. I'm invested heavily in Luna Classic, and I think we still have an incredibly bright future. Will we see trials and tribulations? Yes. Will we see price movement that people feel uncomfortable with? Absolutely. But we will absolutely stand the test and see where we get to after that. So if you like that sort of content, you want to stay up to date, make sure you leave a like on the video. Also, subscribe to the channel. I appreciate all the support recently, and I'll see you guys in the next video.